It is now my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Retired Bernd Schliemann, an Army veteran for over 20 years whose service includes duties at West Point, Fort Carson, Fort Bragg, Germany, Korea, and Southwest Asia during Operation Desert Storm, as well as at the University of Massachusetts Amherst as the Professor of Military Leadership.
What I wanted to point out to you are the three valuable traits, characteristics, lessons, values, really, that I have brought with me from my military service. And I know each of the veterans share with me in these, those that are in front of you and those that are in the audience. And the first one is selfless service. I can't tell you what an honor it is to serve for this great nation that we have, but I'll tell you that as we retire, as the veterans slowly decrease their role from the active duty military, we become proud, humble, and quiet. There are all sorts of veterans across campus. I see them in the audience. I see them across campus every day. They're faculty, there's a dean, there are staff, they're everywhere on campus, but they're quiet. We also want you to know on behalf of the veterans that we're very proud that the cadets in the programs, both programs, are carrying on the legacy of military service. We're immensely proud of that. We know you're not we know you're not always the most popular students on campus, particularly when it's uniform day. We get that. But we want you to understand that it's important, and we respect what you're doing very, very much. It's also important because our soldiers and airmen and Marines deserve our very best leaders. They are awesome, and they deserve nothing but your unequivocal best. The second point is leadership. I learned a lot. I was immediately thrust into a leadership position as a 22-year-old second lieutenant. My platoon sergeant, Sergeant First Class David C. Carter, he was as old as my dad. And I learned a lot from not only watching good leaders, but also observing poor leaders. I not only learned how to do it right, but also to do it better. The third point is honor. And I want to read you something. It's a little message I got. And I'll tell you a little bit about it after I read it. It was another IED route clearing patrol on the main road north of Baghdad 2 evenings ago, when a specialist combat engineer, 6 months deployed into a 12-month tour for the second time in Iraq, in the turret gunner position of the first MRAP, noticed a quick plume of black smoke up ahead from a detonated IED. As they slowed, another IED detonated with metal piercing the MRAP bulletproof window, landing into him. He felt fine, but felt wetness in his leg. It was hemoglobin. Within moments, the tourniquet applied by his battle buddy, whose head was narrowly missed by the shrapnel, slowed the bleeding, and a medevac was called in. Minutes later, medevac flew him and some other injured teammates to us, where he had surgery with our famous benchmark 98% survival rate. He left the next day in great spirits on an aerovac to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. And after reevaluation, he will return home to be with his family. This was written by Dr. John Mitchell. He's a United States Air Force surgeon serving in Iraq today. He sent me this email at 4:20 this morning. He knew I was speaking today and wanted me to send you a message, and I told him I would. He also happens to be one of my students in an online course. So we got UMass represented across the globe. I want to thank the cadets. You look awesome. Thank you for continuing the tradition that was started here many years ago. And thank you for the veterans for your dedicated service, and everyone in the audience who has supported all the veterans of this fine nation of ours. Thank you.